in the game. It's big time plays by Jordan Love in that fourth quarter, really the last two series and some of the sequence of some of that stuff. The things that you don't think about. There's the splash plays and there's like escape the sack, right? Demario Davis takes the wrong, makes a big play against a all pro caliber linebacker. Just big time stuff. So I had a couple observations, things that I think I got right from last week. The Packers were most effective when they pressured Carr inside out. When he can't climb, he can't compete or complete passes. We did make them one-dimensional. The turning point in that game was definitely when Carr went down. Now, listen, Kamara and Williams being out is a big deal, but Cesar Ruiz going out was a big deal. But, you play against the opponent that's on the field, and you can't really do anything about that. They had to shuffle their line, fair enough. The Packers were effective on that under center play action pass. We talked about that last week because how these guys get triggered really fast. The under center stuff did grab linebackers, made the decisions easier for him. We saw that on tape. He does a good job of taking what's given to him. He did go deep a lot in this game. That's why his completion percentage is so low. But as the game wore on, you see him taking the checkdowns. You see him taking the easy passes and becoming much more effective. For over 250 yards this week for the first time. We were the more physical team. I think this is maybe the most important point. And I know we're missing guys. This felt like a second string game at some positions for sure. But in a physical game against the Saints' physical defense, I felt like I'm not saying our offense matched, their defense. I don't think 8 points is the win. Okay. Going out her. There's a lot of things that have to happen in order to win games like this. But I think from a defensive standpoint, giving up 10 points, dominating the line of scrimmage, playing a physical brand of football. Guys like Rasul Douglas showing up. Guys like Quay Walker showing up. Guys like Rashawn Gary going, hey, remember me? Before last season's injury, I was in the running to be Defensive Player of the Year. I wasn't Defensive Player of the Year. I was in the running, and I'm back, and I'm healthy, and I look really, really good, okay? Saints offense mustered 10 points. 10 points on offense is a winning game. If your defense averages 10 points a game, they're the best defense that ever walked the earth, okay? So that's what I got right. What did I get wrong? Well, I didn't say that we were going to establish the run. I said if we establish the run, it would help the understanding of play action pass. Now, A.J. Dillon was 11 for 33 for 3 yards per carry. It's terrible. And when you look at the tape, it looks bad that he made some bad reads. It looks bad that we made some bad blocks. It looks terrible that he had some good runs that got called back because of penalties. So there's just things all over the board that just don't feel right with our run game. From a physical standpoint, I think you need to find your identity there. I don't think we're there yet. I think the under center play action off of that stuff still does help because they are going to try to establish a run. That's the kind of team they have to be right now. But we got to find some way to be more effective at running the football if it's not Jordan Love. Jordan Love can't lead the team in rushing every week. I mean, 39 yards rushing leading the team, you're going like, you should not win any games. So I don't like that. I don't like their running still, a lot of horizontal running. I don't like that we're man blocking in situations where I think their inside guys are better than our inside guys in the run game. I think we're better in the pass game. I think they're better in the run game. So I think there's a lot of stuff there that we need to be better with, certainly. I don't know that when I went back and looked at kind of what we talked about on Thursday, the game plan was pretty clear, and I think I think it was pretty clear to the Packers as well. I don't think there's any other real surprises in this game. You don't know how many times they're going to go deep. You don't know, what the thought process is behind that. Certainly, we're not getting a lot of passing interference. I think we got one. We're not getting a lot of pass interference calls with some of those balls. I don't know if we deserve them or not, but you see in this day and age, there's a lot of flags that are getting thrown, and certainly we got our share of ours, 11 penalties for 90 yards, but we didn't get a ton. So let's just go on to this. Areas of opportunity. Offense. Running game has to improve. I think our game plan was sabotaged by penalties, number one. Number two, we have to continue to track the ball carrier against the Jahmyr Gibbs and a better opponent this week. The Lions are better. Their offensive line is much better. Their running backs, Kamara and Jamal Williams out. Jahmyr Gibbs and company are going to be better. This is going to be a better offense all the way around, but I think offensive line-wise and then the running back situation they have up there, this is going to be a real test. We have to feel like we can be the more physical team and disciplined team against this opponent, just like we were against the Saints. Because number 3, we can't hope that we hold the Lions to 10 points on defense. This offensive team has to find their footing earlier in the game. We have to figure out a way to get scores, not gimmicks, not throwbacks, although the throwback's not a bad deal, but you can't rely on the throwback, right, to get you points. We need to find a way to consistently move the ball earlier in the game, right, and then be able to sustain it. It's like you should be winning with your initial game plan, and then you have to go make adjustments, in-game adjustments, whether it's at halftime, second quarter, third quarter, whatever. But you got to feel like you're going to win with your initial game plan. Like what we thought was going to happen happened like we thought it was, and we're better at it than they are. So we got to get to that point on offense. I don't know if we're there just yet. I got a handful of listener questions I want to get to for you guys. Number 1, should the Packers trade for a vet receiver? I'm going to do a little bit of this rapid fire. My short answer is no. I like the group that we have. They're only going to get better as they get Christian Watson back and they get older. You don't bring a vet guy in to steal reps from these kids because they're playing at a high level. That's the easiest way to say it. Yeah. Did Reed drop a couple balls yesterday? Yeah, he did. Okay. They're playing at a high level. Leave them alone. Let them mold. If you're the offensive coordinator, what do you do about A.J. Dillon? Do you split carries with Wilson and Taylor? I think you have to at least look at, is he capable of running the offense that you want to run? Are you willing to change? If you're not willing to change, split carries. I think you have to do things that are very black and white with him right now. Don't run him horizontally. Make the reads super, super clear. Give him double teams to run behind. If you're not willing to do that stuff, like it doesn't fit where our offense is, yeah, split carries. I think you have to. Are we lucky or good? Here's the other question. Are we lucky or good right now? Yes. Right? You missed the field goal. If we're 1-2 because he makes that field goal, you feel terrible. All right? 50% completion percentage by Jordan Love isn't going to win games in the National Football League. It's not sustainable, especially when we don't have a running game. Okay, but you see like the way he was 6 for 14 at one point. He ends up, I think, 22 for 44. Certainly in the fourth quarter, he's a lot better than he was the rest of the game. That's not a sustainable way to win, but we're learning. It's always good to win and learn. You can win and learn. You can lose and learn. You're always going to learn. It's a lot better to win and learn. Okay, it's not lose or learn. It's not win or learn. Like it's win and learn or lose and learn. You always learn. Okay, so try to take something from this. Who's the best fill-in player? I suppose I got to say Rasheed Walker. Just because he's playing one of the most difficult positions in football, and I thought he did a pretty good job. I thought Isaiah McDuffie did a pretty good job as well, filling in for Devontae Campbell, but I always think that. I might be biased. But I think Rasheed Walker would be the short, easy answer. He's not playing perfect, but that's a very, very difficult position to play, and he's playing at a good level. Zach Tom, we already talked about him. He's not perfect. Cam Jordan beat him a couple times, right? He gets beat, but he's playing well. Like, you can't be happier with a 4th or 5th round pick, whatever he was, given that was last season, and what he looks like today and how good his hands are and his feet are today. If he just continues to improve his body positioning and footwork, he's going to be a really good player in this league, right? Consistency matters at the right tackle position. And we already talked about this a little bit. Is there value winning in winning like this for a young team? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the more games you pack under your belt where you had to face some adversity, real adversity, I think the more you learn about yourself, and you can pull from your reservoir later in the year. Okay. Was Rasheed Walker a legit starter for the rest of the season? I'm hitting this rapid fire. If he has to be, yes. We talked about the running game. Snarky fella, thanks for asking. Biggest issue, yeah, running game. Running game. Are there any significant changes to Rashawn Gary's game from pre to post injury? I'll tell you what, I haven't seen him run upfield as much. The one knock that I had on him was he wasted too many snaps running upfield. Maybe I missed him yesterday because he's not getting as many reps. He seems to be going through the tackle when he gets to level. When he gets to the level of the quarterback or just beneath, he seems to be going through, so he's not 5 yards upfield like we talked about last week. That was a last week problem. To this week, it didn't look like that. I thought that was more Edenbari than anybody else last week, and maybe Hollins. Not as much for Rashawn Gary. So I think he's taking a more direct and deliberate path to the quarterback. I think he's only an improvement in his pass rush skills. What was your grade for Royce? I don't grade Royce, but you're not saying his name a lot. He got beat in the run game a couple times. He's not the most physical player, but he's playing at a pretty good level. So that's as simple as I can make it when you talk about the offensive line right now. I talk about process. I don't give out grades. I talk about your footwork. I talk about your body position. We can kind of figure out what happened in certain situations because of that. When you put young guys in there and they start running games, like you see when Jordan Love at the end of the game, they ran the TE and he passed off the T, hit the E. There's nobody on the T because Rasheed Walker was too flat on the set. Like those things kind of happen because of lack of chemistry, lack of awareness, etc. But that's not like that doesn't define whether you had a good game or not. Even if you would have got a sack in that play, if the D tackle gets a sack, that doesn't mean you had a good or bad game. That's not how you think about things. I mean, that's just you can't live in your existence like that, if that makes sense.